Hello all, welcome back to another interesting session. In this video we are going to see the complete flow of CI/CD using the different tools like GitHub, Jenkins, Docker, Kubernetes, and finally after deploying in Kubernetes we are going to monitor it through the Grafana, Prometheus and Loki stack. So for that I have took three EC2 instances. In one of the instances I have installed Jenkins, and in other two instances I have installed Kubernetes master and worker node and I have attached it. You can go through my previous videos for the Kubernetes bare metal self-managed cluster installation and Jenkins installation part as well. So let's get into the video now. So after setting up the Kubernetes cluster, you have to run the following commands, which I'll paste in the description below. Please go through it. Okay. So in this commands, what we are going to do is we are creating a service account called kubeadminuser, and we are going to assign him the cluster admin role. And after describing the secret of the kubeadminuser service account, we are going to get a token which we are going to use in the Jenkins as a secret text, and we are also creating a certificate where we are going to pass it through the GitHub, our repository. This token and certificate will play role for establishing connection between our Jenkins and our Kubernetes cluster in order to deploy our manifest files. So let's get into Jenkins now. So the token which we have generated for the kubeadminuser service account, we have to create a secret text in our credentials. For that, go to manage Jenkins and credentials and click on the system global credentials and create a credential, and the kind is secret text. Okay, and pass the token which I have shared you just now. So give a ID, a specific ID which you need to pass in the Jenkins pipeline, and add a sort of description as well. So this part I have already done, and see, this is my token, KTS token, which I'm going to pass in my Jenkins pipeline. So now let's navigate to dashboard again, and this is the GitHub repo guys, which we are going to use for our CI/CD flow. So which consists of set of deployment files in which we are from which we are going to deploy Tomcat web server, and we have also a Docker file in which we are going to build a Tomcat image, and we are going to push this image to my repo, my GitHub repo, and we are going to use the same image in the deployment file that I'm going to show in the demonstration now. And after the deployment part, we are going to monitor using Grafana and Prometheus Loki stack. So for Prometheus and Grafana, I have mentioned the commands in the readme.md file, and for Loki you can clone this repo and using the helm command you can install the Loki directly. This I'll be showing in the next part. So in the certificate directory, we are going to pass the certificate which we created in the first stage. The certificate you need to update over here. What might be your certificate, you just need to command change over here, and we are going to pass 4 commands in this KTS context.sh file, where we'll pass the certificate, okay, and the token which we have saved in Jenkins, and thirdly the endpoint. So the kube API server will runs on the port number 6443. Okay, please note it down, 6443. With that port number I have created a load balancer, network load balancer, and that endpoint we are going to pass. So that part I am going to show in the Jenkins file. So in Jenkins file you can see the $123 which was mentioned in that file refers to this. $1 refers to the kube API endpoint, which is the network load balancer DNS name, and API token will be the secret token which we are passing from Jenkins as a secret text, and the certificate will be the certificate which I have shown you just now in the certs directory deploy.crt file, that file. So with this 3 combination we are going to establish connection between our Jenkins and Kubernetes cluster. So now let's go ahead and deploy our manifest files. So let's get started. And in order to push our Docker image to our Docker Hub repo, we need to add our credentials, Docker credentials. So for that, I have navigated to manage Jenkins credentials again, and inside system, I'm going to create a credential for our Docker login purpose. Okay, and the type will be username and password only. My username is this, and my password. So here I'm going to pass it as Docker creds. Same thing I'm going to paste in my description as well, and I've created it. So the words we have, the IDs we have to remember: KTS token for Kubernetes token, and Docker creds for my Docker authentication. So in Jenkins pipeline, we need to pass the Docker credentials as well. So let's pass it like this in the environment block. So it is Docker creds, right? Docker creds. So I'll explain the pipeline now. We are passing two parameters. The first parameter is the endpoint, which is the network load balancer endpoint, which I've said. So this is the network load balancer endpoint, and the certificate name is deploy.qa.crt, which I've shown you in the repo just now. So in the environment block, for the particular word cert, we are giving the path, okay, where the path is in the workspace in the search directory. So this cert name will be replaced by my value. If you have multiple certificates, you can pass like this, or else directly you can cut this value and you can paste over here by removing this $cert name. So this is the best practice if you have multiple certificates by passing this environment block. And firstly, I'm cleaning my workspace, so you can use the clean ws simple command. And the second stage, I'm just checking out my repo. Okay, and after this, let's build my image and push it to Docker Hub. So the stage name be Docker build. So let's open a shell block. So first I'll log in. Username will be docker_usr. So here from this environment block, it will pick the credential directly, and password will be $docker_psw. So with this command, we will be able to log in into our Docker Hub. So in our registry, in our GitHub repo, we have Docker file. So we are going to build the image out of it. Docker build -t tag, image name will be some registration app something. Let it be 2 because I have an image already with reg app. So the Docker file is in the present working directory, so I have used this dot, and I'm going to tag my image with my repo id reg app 2 with. So by default I haven't given any tag, so it will be latest. The tag will be latest, and so I'm going to tag it with Hemant1211, which is my username :latest. So next I'm going to push it to my repo, Docker Hub repo, using command docker push. So the image will be pushed to my repo, which I'll show you. And after that we are going to establish connection to our Kubernetes cluster using the command which I have explained you just now, where we are going to pass our the endpoint, our token, secret text, and the certificate, right? And I'm going to apply the files using the kubectl command which are in my root location of GitHub, okay, which will deploy sample Tomcat web server, and we'll get a node port out of which we are going to create a target group and a load balancer, and we are going to access it, which we are going to see very shortly. So after that we are going to see the status of all pod services, endpoints, deployments and all. So let's click on apply and save. So before starting the pipeline, I'm just going to share you the Docker Hub registry. The registration app 2 part is not there. So after starting the triggering the pipeline, we are going to see that particular image is pushed to my Docker Hub registry. So before starting the pipeline, just have a look at my Docker Hub repo where I have only a single image. So after triggering the pipeline, we are going to get the second image. So initially the parameters will not be reflected, so just click on build now and wait for a second, and after some time just abort it, like wait for 2-3 seconds and just abort it, and just refresh the page, and you will get the parameters updated. So it's the load balancer endpoint which we are passing, and this is the certificate name which is in my GitHub. Okay, this is the certificate. So let's build. So now let's open the console output and let's monitor. So image is being pushed to my Docker registry. So it's pushed. Let's go ahead and just refresh my page. See, 4 minutes ago I got this registration app too. So image has been built and pushed to my repo, and the connection was established to the Kubernetes cluster which I have created here to the master, and the two files which are in my base root location, the deployment file and service file, they got applied, and we can see the list of pods and services and my deployment. So it is running on the port number 31690. This is the node port which is exposed, and we have to create a target group and attach it to the load balancer in order to access it. So let's go to the target groups now and create a target group. So let it be my app, and the target group target port is 31690, and so let's scroll down and click on next, and we have to target point it to the master instance. Click on the include as pending below, and hit on the create target group. This will create the target group with the 31690 port number, and let's go and create a load balancer now. So we will create a load balancer. Let's take an application load balancer, and let's pass some name, my app ALB. Let it be internet facing, and choose two availability zones, and in the security group I have just leaving it as default because I have added the required security groups. And the listener is HTTP. It listens on port number 80, and target will be my app, right? And scroll down all the way and hit on the create load balancer. So this will create a load balancer and wait until the status comes to available, so that we can use this DNS name and access our app. The load balancer is active now. Let's go ahead and copy the DNS name, open a new tab, give HTTP as the listener is 80 HTTP, and paste the DNS name, and that's it. We can access our deployed web server, Tomcat web server. And next we are going to deploy Grafana in our Kubernetes cluster, and we are going to access the dashboard in the similar way. And I'm going to show how we are going to monitor our pods, and how we are going to see the logs of the individual pod and deployments and all. Now we have connected to our master instance, and I'm going to clone my repo. So this is my repo, Kubernetes test, and let's change the directory to Kubernetes test. So these are the files to install Grafana. Let's get into the Grafana directory. So for the installation of Prometheus, Grafana and Loki, we need Helm. Okay, for that I'll share the set of commands with you in the description. Please follow that for the installation of Helm. Okay, first let's install Helm. Use these commands and create a soft link. Okay, these 4 commands will help you to install Helm in the master instance. So just hit Helm, and if you are able to see this, Helm is installed. Okay, and now we are going to add the Prometheus repo to our Helm local repo. So our repository has been added, and let's update the repo first. Yeah, update is completed, and now let's go ahead and install the Prometheus Grafana stack. So the Prometheus stack has been installed now, and if we list the pods, kubectl get pods, here you can see we got the stacks directly, the pods directly, as Helm will maintain the all manifest files, so there will be no need to maintain the files in the local. Okay, so the pods are getting created. So let's wait for some time until all pods gets into running state. Yeah, we got all pods to running state, and let's list the services, kubectl get service, and in order to access the Grafana dashboard, we need to expose this particular service, and we need to get a node port. For that we have to use the command called kubectl expose service, and the service name will be Prometheus stack Grafana space, the type will be, we need a node port, so node port, and the initial target port is 8080, and I want to expose the service with a name called Grafana service. See, the service got exposed, and if we check for services, we'll get a new service, Grafana service, and we'll also get a node put. So we have to create a target group again and attach it to a load balancer in order to access our Grafana dashboard. So let's go ahead and create a target group again, and let's jump into the AWS console now. So let's go to the target group again and create a target group. Target group name will be some Grafana, and node port is 30583, and let's confirm it, 30583, right? Let's scroll down and click on next, and select the master instance again, and click on include as pending below. Scroll down and hit on the create target group. This will create a target group with the Grafana TG name. So let's create a load balancer now. Create a load balancer and let it be application again, and name will be like anything, Grafana ALB. Scroll down, select two availability zones, and select your security group, and the listener will be 80, and we have to select the target group again. It is Grafana target group, and scroll down and hit on the create load balancer. So let's wait until the status comes to active, so that we can access the Grafana dashboard. So the load balancer is active now, and let's go ahead and access the dashboard now. So this is the Grafana dashboard. Login username will be admin, and password will be prom-operator by default. Okay, please note it down. Username will be admin and password will be prom-operator, and let's click on login. So this is how our dashboard looks like. We have to navigate to the dashboards. So in the general tab, by default we are going to get multiple dashboards where we can monitor our pod metrics, our deployments, our space and all. And let's go into our dashboard now. See, this will compute our CPU utilization of individual nodes. Okay, so we have one master and one worker node. That is what we are getting. So similarly, we can import some dashboards as well. So here in import dashboard, so we need to pass some IDs. For example, let's take 15661. So here we have to select the data source Prometheus and import. So this will give the detailed metrics, like in each suppose we have these many number of pods which we have deployed just now in our cluster. So suppose let's see my demo app, how much CPU it utilized and how much memory it utilized, and we can see the details of the network very in detail. So regarding the Grafana dashboard, I'll make a separate video, so let's keep it short. So these are all about the metrics, and how about logs. In order to get logs from the cluster, we need to integrate Loki. So first we need to go into the master and install the Loki again, and we need to add the data source to the Grafana. So let's jump into the master node and install the Loki. So for the installation of Loki from the Helm chart, we have to add the particular repo, this particular repo. This was already present, and after that Helm repo update. Yeah, it was updated, and now let's install Loki using this command helm install Loki from the Grafana repo. So now let's list the pods, Loki pods. Yeah, so all were in running state. So let's wait for this particular pod to come into running state, and let's list the service as well. Loki will be running on 3100 by default. It will take some time for this particular pod to come into running state, so let's wait for that. Now we can see that the pod is in running state, and let's go ahead and add this Loki in our Grafana dashboard. So in the Grafana dashboard, click on home, and in the administration tab, you will find the data sources, and select the add new data source, and if you scroll down, you can find Loki. So in URL section, you need to enter the URL. The service name will be Loki, and it is running on port number 3100, which I have said now just before. Click on save and test. Then we can get the data source connected and labels are found. This means the Loki data source has been successfully added, and now we need to import a dashboard to fetch the logs. Okay, so the dashboard ID will be 13639. Please note down, and the dashboard data source will be Loki. And if we import, so this is how our Loki dashboard looks like, and we can fetch all the logs related to our deployments, pods and all. And here we can select the individual pods or deployments which are running in our different namespaces, and we can list the individual logs. So this particular dashboard is for logs, and this is for fetching metrics. That's it for the video. So just a quick recap. What we have done is we have cloned the repo, and we have built our Docker image and pushed it to our Docker Hub registry, and using that particular image we have deployed into the Kubernetes cluster. And after that, using the Helm chart, we have installed Prometheus Grafana, and we have created a load balancer for that particular node port, and we have accessed it. After seeing the Prometheus dashboard, Prometheus and Grafana dashboard, we have installed Loki, and we have added another dashboard for Loki to fetch the logs and all. So that's it for the video, guys. Hope this is useful, and thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel. Thank you so much.